What do you think about when you hear somebody say that you should invest in your future? For some people, that might mean education. For some people, that might mean investing. For some people, it might mean making sure that you're paying into a pension plan. This varies from person to person, from individual to individual. We would like to hear what your idea of investing in your future means. In this video, we're going to be exploring some of the ways in which you can invest in your future, and hopefully these will add insight into some of the strategies that you are able to implement to make sure that your future is exactly what you plan for it to be or better. Welcome back to Ira Living. In today's video, we're going to be looking at strategies and techniques that you can implement to invest in your future. The big question we want to ask is, how do you invest in your future? To examine this, we're going to look at 5 different areas that we can explore to give us an idea of how to invest in our future. We don't know what the future holds, and therefore it is important that we try to ensure that we can look at all the different possible pathways our future could take and ensure that we are making the necessary provision to satisfy all of those different pathways so that the lifestyle that we're able to live is one that is what we actually desire to pursue and to enjoy. When we hear about investing in our future, some people think about the aspect of investing in our health, and this is essentially one of the areas that we need to invest in. And so they think about things such as the foods that we eat to make sure that we're being healthy, or the exercises we undertake to give us a healthy frame and also to be healthier further into our future. Some people also look at the mindfulness pursuit to make sure that we're in a sound mind for the decisions that we are about to take in our lives for now as well as for the future. One of the other aspects of investing in our future is thinking about our finances and how well that is being planned out for us by the decisions and the choices that we are taking. And what we're going to be looking at is exploring some of the areas that are fundamental for us to focus on so that we can have a successful and vibrant financial future to be able to live the life that we aspire to achieve in an era where things are getting more expensive and lifestyles are becoming much more costly to fund and to afford. The first step that we need to take is to revolutionize our psychology of money. This is important that we understand how we think about money, how we perceive money, and then how we also operate and handle money. We need to have a solid understanding of how money works so that we are then able to allow that money to work for us in the way that we actually want it to work. And this is important that we're thinking about money in a way that is healthy. So a lot of us might grow up with scarcity mindset where money was a lack or limited resource that we had. And therefore we've developed unconscious behaviors that we display towards money. And it's important that we peel back the layers and see what these are so that we can address and eliminate them so that we can have a more healthy relationship with money, and therefore recognizing that it's a tool that we can use to acquire the different commodities that we want in life and develop a healthy relationship with how we spend money, and therefore have a good spending habit is important in investing in our future. Because once we've been able to make our foundation an attitude of how we spend money, how we allow money to work, then it becomes a lot easier for us to build out the other areas that we're going to be discussing. Number 2 is to learn financial management strategies. Now, the way in which we manage our money is very important, because if we're not managing it, then we are unable to give account for what we're doing with our money. So in the area of managing our money is to understand how we direct our money in the different areas that we want it to go, whether that's with regards to our fixed expenditure or variable expenditure, or generosity, where we are being generous to ourselves and to charities and organizations, or where it is that we are putting aside guilt-free spending so that we are indeed able to do that. Also, it's in the way that we set aside our monies in places where we know that we're actually going to be growing value in our money, in the fact that we're living in a society of inflation, where if you put money down today, in 10 years' time, that money doesn't equate to the same value, even though it's the same amount of money. So we need to be able to put our money in a place where it's going to be growing sufficiently to be able to at least counteract the inflation that we are experiencing. Number 3 is to build a budget for each stage of your life. Now, every stage of your life that you're going through, there are things that are different with those stages. And with those new stages and new levels come new demands and new requirements. And therefore, it's important that we're setting out a budget for each of those stages. Now, by no means does this mean that we need to upscale our lifestyle simply because we have gotten into a new pay bracket or any of those sort of things. What it is trying to address here is to ensure that the things that are in our budget that we are addressing are things that are actually relevant for the season of life that we're currently in. And if it's not, then we need to redraft what our budget is and ensure that this budget is fulfilling its duty and its responsibility to help us to direct our monies into the areas that they best need to be directed to yield us maximum profitability on the monies that we are earning and spending. Number 4 is to practice strategies for wealth creation. Now, in every aspect of our life, as we are advancing, we're developing new skills, which means that we're adding greater value to ourselves. And therefore, it's important that we're looking at ways in which we're going to be creating wealth. For some people, this just might be by the incremental increase in their pay package from their employer. It might be by the bonuses that they acquire and different aspects of employment revenue that they can achieve. For other people, it might be that they want to use these skills to be able to produce and provide services, products, and other means that they can use to be able to build out a greater wealth. Whether this might also be through how they are investing their monies to ensure that it is at least gaining them some interest so that they can have that to use in different ways that they so please as they're trying to build out a wealth portfolio or generating wealth for themselves. Number 5 is figuring out your wealth building vehicle. It is important that we know the different wealth building vehicles that are available and also how to capitalize on them for our own advantage. And therefore, looking at ways in which we can invest our monies in ways that are going to bring us a greater yield or return on our investment. It is important that we are examining what the pitfalls and the benefits are with different vehicles of wealth generation, because if we're not examining those closely, we can put ourselves in a position where we become disheartened by the outcomes that we receive. Now, we do have a video on here about wealth generation vehicle that you could go and have a look at, and we will pin it at the end of this video or for you so you can have a look at it. It's important that we look at the different avenues in which we're investing in our future, because we cannot afford to spend our time in the now and not paying it forward into the future and then getting there and realizing that we cannot make up for the time that we have lost or that we have mismanaged. And therefore, in whatever way you can invest in your future, whether it's in your health, whether it's in finances or in your relationships or in other aspects of your life, it's important that you're investing in the future that you are seeking to create for yourself and for the people around you. Remember, financial literacy is revolutionary. It has transformed my life, and I believe that it can do the same to yours.